The following announcement has been paid for by the
Mark! The spot of the week we're going to talk tonight is the absolute brilliant counter that MJF had to Darby's Code Red that was immediately following a Code Red he hit on Sammy. Now, I know that Krillan, we talked before, you agree. What was it about that Code Red that really struck you as the spot of the week?
Because it's not something you're expecting. You don't expect somebody to just, like, hold them off like that. Just, like, stop them from completely hitting the Code Red and then just flip them into a sit-out powerbomb. And that was unique. It was something that, you know, again, we've said this before. Before the podcast started, we were like, yeah, it has not really been done as far as we've seen. Maybe it's been done before. We're not entirely sure. But I definitely think it was a unique counter. Nobody else has done it, as far as we both know. But MJF was the first one to do it on live TV, and he did it perfectly.
And that's really what it comes down to, is I've been watching wrestling for a long, long time. I haven't watched a lot of WWE in the last few years because they turned me off, but I keep up with it. I know Simon Miller does a great job of recapping, and when a Code Red is hit, if it were countered, people would be talking about it. Now, they didn't talk a huge amount about it with MJF last night, because he's got so much other shit going on. It was just another great move in a series of great moves in the match overall, which we will cover immediately following the spot of the night. But for those who don't know what a Code Red is the MJF, as an example, stands there. Darby jumps over him, over his head, lands sort of a sunset flip style, and MJF does a backwards flip. Lands on his head, and it looks really damned impressive. He lands between Darby's legs and bounces off his head, sort of like a DDT. Now, in this case, Max put the brakes on, and he stopped. And you can't do this if a person is heavier, but the way that the Code Red comes off, it's really a lot of teamwork. And so because Darby was so small, he put the brakes on and turned it, as you said, Krill, right into a powerbomb. And I do believe... And please, if somebody knows otherwise, tell us in the comments. This is the first time I've seen it on television, at least in the last 20 years, at least in the last 10 years, since the Code Red has really been invented and popularized. That's a hell of a counter, and that's why it deserves the spot of the week.